Okay, usually my painting work in progress videos are silent because I just sort of paint in front of the camera and don't really do much explanation, but here I'm doing a little bit of weathering, actually a lot of weathering. I'm going to do several different layers of different techniques for weathering. Anyway, I've got this thing painted. You saw the airbrushing. Let's see, come on camera, there we go. Anyway, got the pre-shading done. I started with a base of black and then worked up that sandy yellow and then just mixed a little bit of white with the sandy yellow to do some highlighting, and it came out to be a really nice color, I think. And as you can see, after painting all that damage I did with the Dremel, really, God, camera, come on, man. All that damage I did with the Dremel really pops out that my camera refuses to focus on. Anyway, as you can see, I've already done the decals as well. I went ahead and did those before weathering just because, you know, if the paint job and the outer surface is going to get damaged and dirty, so are the markings. So decals are already on there. I went over everything with a lacquer top coat, so right now I am doing a wash. I just mixed up my own wash with some brown and black enamel paint, and now I am in the process of doing that. So I'm just doing a really basic wash. Just going to go over everything and then wipe away the excess, leaving all the little damaged parts and panel lines and all that stuff filled in. Not a very exciting part of the process, but necessary nonetheless. And zoom out a little bit on this. Okay, so I've done all the wash, and for the next step I've just sort of done a bunch of sub-assemblies, put the legs together, arms, torso, waist section, etc. Because the next step I'm doing is dry brushing. I've just mixed up a enamel color here. It's just basically just white, brown, gray, and a little bit of yellow. And now, if you've never done dry brushing technique, it's pretty simple really. You just get some paint on the brush, dab most of it off, so there's paint on there but just very little, and then you're just going to lightly go over the edges, and it's going to accentuate the edges and the raised details on the kit. It's a really subtle process, or at least it should be a really subtle effect. Sometimes it can get a little bit too dramatic. That's when you need to dab more paint off of the brush. And then you can go back and do it in however many layers you want. If you want to dry brush one color and then go back and dry brush another color, that's up to you. Alright, now that the dry brushing is finished, I'm going to move on to chipping. Now, people do chipping various ways. You can use sponges, you can use brushes, you can do the salt chipping technique if you're into that. For this particular kit, I'm just going to use a brush. I've mixed up some dark gunmetal, basically just black and silver, and I'm just going to do the chipping manually. I want to kind of keep it relatively precise on this kit. I think using the sponge is a good technique in general, but for this one I want to be a little bit more precise, so I'm just going to use a small brush to do my chipping for the Leo here. Just going over the edges. Really, basically the areas that I damaged with the Dremel before I painted the kit are the ones I'm really picking out to do the chipping on. And last but not least, I'm gonna do some pastels on this guy, the Tamiya Weathering Master Set. I'm really not gonna do a whole lot with these, mainly like the feet and the knees and kind of mostly the lower half of the body. Just parts that are going to be coming in contact the most with dirt and dust and sand. So just doing this before moving on to top coat. Okay, so now it's time to pour the water. This is actually my second attempt at pouring the water in this little lake. The first one went spectacularly awful. I was using this Woodland Scenics Easy Water. Basically, it's little clear pellets that you heat up and melt, and then pour it into your water cavity. It was terrible. I wish you could have been there because it was bad. So, luckily, I managed to clean that up off of my lake bed, and I had to repaint this. And I went to the hobby store and got a liquid type. You just pour it straight out of the bottle, and it air dries. Woodland Scenics has a YouTube channel where they do tutorials for all their products, and this stuff looks like it's going to be a lot easier to work with. So here we go. First, get this little foam thing off the top of that. And I think we are ready to go. Let's see, where's my stir stick? Here it is. I'll come in from this side. I'm not going to need a whole lot. Just a little. Okay, I think that should be plenty. You'll notice I've got masking tape on the side over here. That should be sufficient to keep the liquid from seeping out over the edge. Looks like it's doing a good job of that. Not noticing any leakage, so I think that's all there is to it. Now I just gotta wait 24 hours for this to dry, and the diorama should be very close to being done. Okay, so I have let the water dry overnight. I used the paintbrush to put some little ripply effects on the surface of the water, and it turned out much better than the first time around, so I'm really happy with that. And now I'm pretty much just doing the final touch, which is adding this grass. Basically just taking this and cutting off some little clumps and just gluing them onto the diorama base. It's kind of tedious, but should look good once everything gets done. And there we have it. After adding on the finishing touches, this little diorama is finally complete. You can see I removed the masking tape from the bottom, so it's got a nice clean black border. The grass turned out pretty good. I trimmed that a little bit, make the grass a little bit shorter, a little more realistic. Got a nice little ripple texture to the water there. Repainted the palm trees so they look a bit more realistic than they did straight out of the box. Got my little Oz soldiers down here. I never did show them off, did I? Yeah, I took my little 1:100 scale people and painted them up in Oz uniforms. Did a little simple camouflage on the tent and the trucks. Did weathering on them as well. So they are done up. The Leo itself, got a little Oz soldier standing in Leo's hand, like so. Actually, modified this guy. I cut his arm and then cemented it back on at a different angle, and I'm not sure if you can see it, but I made a tiny little pair of binoculars for him to hold. So really happy with the way this whole thing has turned out. Now I've still got a month and a half before I have to send this off to GBWC, so between now and then I'll probably still tweak a few things, mess with some stuff. I think maybe I want to use some putty and make like some sand built up around the edge, the bottom of the tent here, because that looks a little bit rough. But I think for the purposes of this work in progress video series, I'm going to go ahead and call this thing done. So that about does it for this work in progress video. I don't think I'm going to do like a proper review of this Leo, since it's basically just a tall geese and I've shown you everything I've done to it through the course of these work in progress videos. But I think what I am going to do is do a photo slideshow when I take pictures of this diorama. I'll put some music in the background and just upload that as a video for you guys to check out. So that about does it for this, and with that, I'll see you guys next time.